Hey guys, I'm Mark,
I'm Alen.
and welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up. Well, my friend, here we are back for another episode. You ready to go?
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. You like
It's
that?
It's not Christmas, actually.
You like that phrase, don't you?
Yeah.
That's like an all-purpose phrase for you.
Yes, it is. No, glad to be back, Mark.
Yeah, so it's good to see you. You've been on the road a bunch, right? So
yeah.
where all have you been?
Well, a lot of places in Ohio, a couple places in the Midwest. Been the furthest I've been out is actually Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, tropical
awesome.
paradise down there, huh?
Man, dude, let's just all just like get out of our country and move to Costa Rica. I was pondering it. I was trying to say that. I was like, man, that might sound political, but there's nothing political behind it.
No.
Like, dude, Costa Rica is just beautiful, man.
I have never been. I've traveled throughout Central America and South America, never to Costa Rica, but everybody I talk to who's been there says it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous. The people are awesome. The food is exquisite. I think I threw a word out earlier with you, scrumptious.
Yes.
Yes, the coffee is wow. I honestly, if my wife came up to me and was like, you know what, honey, I've been thinking, I think we need to move to Costa, I'd be there before she finished the sentence.
So not even an arm twist
Nope.
involved there.
Nope, I'd move in a heartbeat.
That's a high endorsement.
Yeah. Anyway, it was beautiful.
So what were
awesome.
you? I know you weren't down there just vacationing. What were you doing?
So I worked with this organization called Pure Vita Missions, led by Dylan and Gloria Hoover. And, of course, their daughter is a part of it, Carmelinda. And they have a missions program that they invite groups to come in and be a part of different missions that are happening in Costa Rica, as well as they have this discipleship training program for kind of like those who are taking gap years to just out of high school, or want to take a break, college or after college, whatever. Just young kids who show up and they go through a discipleship program for a year and training them on leadership and discipleship. It's really,
That sounds cool.
Really dope, really really cool. So they have lots of connections in places that their arms reach out to. And helping love the people of Costa Rica and point them to Jesus. It's really neat. They also have this really cool like prenatal care ministry called El Nido, where they're reaching out to lots of moms with kids and helping them to raise their children and such, and getting them ready to for them to have their child and such. It's really cool. Really, really good stuff.
That is cool. Yeah. That's cool. It's always fun to get out of our country, get out of our culture, to experience something different.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's not been like this for you, but I go through a bit of a culture shock when I re-enter affluent middle class America. Right?
Yes. I always come back going wow, that statement, first world problems. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Really? You're arguing about this? Really?
I know.
This matters? This matters to me? It matters no more. And,
right.
And it's not, dude, Costa Rica is beautiful. It's economically, it's well, culturally, it's well. And so I don't want people thinking we're just going to I was going to a third world country. That's not what I'm thinking about when I think of Costa Rica. Although it does have its share of poverty and such too, which is a lot of places where we go and connect in, and do ministry and do service projects in. But in those places I see things someone living in a house that has the four walls are just 4 pieces of tin, and they're stealing electricity, with this live wire that if you touch, it would be the end of days. And, there's trash all over the place in certain neighborhoods, and there's prostitution going on, and there's drugs being just run through rampantly. And kids are not going to school, and you just see that, and you see how some people live, and you go, wow, I have it great. Like, I have it really good, and I don't need to be so uptight about things all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really puts a lot of things in perspective.
It does.
And not only that, but also way of life. Like Costa Rica, man, there's just this sense of like, we just live, dude. We live, and like we eat well because the food is well. There's friendship and hospitality that like I just feel may lack where I live. You know what I mean? And so, I get back and like, I'm like, everyone walks by, I'm like, hey. And it's like, they're not saying hey back. It's like,
right.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
not in Costa Rica
I'm
anymore,
not in Costa
Dorothy.
Rica anymore. Or, it's like, it's not like this sense of like, dude, we just live. It's not that we don't work hard, but we live, like pure vida, like, you know what I mean? And, then I get back and it's like, oh wait, nope, it's back to the crazy work ethic of like drill, work, hard, don't live, don't play. And it's murderous.
Yeah.
And so it's hard like transitioning back. But I like to take a trip every year that I am asked to come and be a part and help with the training and stuff, because it reminds me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of those things and more. And it helps me get perspective. So it's not just for, I always tell people like, mission trips aren't just for you to go do something. It's also for you to be changed in the process and such. And so I am definitely changed when I get back home.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah, cool.
Well, welcome back to the States.
Thank you, sir.
It's good to be behind the microphone with you one more time.
Yes, absolutely. Likewise.
So this is a very crude transition from cultural change into our topic, but I was watching a movie the other day with a completely different culture than the one in which we live, with completely different beings, and I was reminded of the wisdom in one of these creatures, one of these aliens in this movie.
What?
Yes.
Dude, we get a lot of things from different things.
When he said, the best teacher failure is. Now, if I did it with the right accent.
Oh, man, that was Star Wars.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So completely different culture, right? Yeah. But I'm watching the Star Wars, the Last Jedi episode. It made its way to Netflix, and that scene is such a powerful scene. And Yoda says the best teacher failure is, and it reminded me of actually being in the theater when I first saw that. I whipped out my phone. I'm like, oh, I got to remember this. So I made a note of it, and put the quote on my phone, and then promptly forgot until I watched it again. And I'm like, okay. So I've been thinking about this idea of failure. I've written an article on it for the other work that I do, and in the context of our discussion today, I thought that we could tee up this idea of failure and how we help our boys in particular navigate through it. And what I mean is this: I want to take the angle of not so much I tried something and it didn't work out, so I'm going to try it again, right? Like nobody bats 1,000 at the plate. Nobody shoots 10 for 10, consistently on the basketball court. That's not what I'm trying to get at here. What I'm trying to get at is a legitimate mistake. From I mismanaged my time to I did something illegal. That whole continuum there. I made a mistake, and now I got to face the consequences. And what I'd like to tease out here, at least what's on my mind, is how do we create space for our kids, our boys in particular, to wrestle with the consequences of decisions and of mistakes or failures, and yet be there for them. So anyway, that's where I'd like to go. Just curious your initial reactions to the topic.
Well, I mean, I know as a parent, Actually, as another human being, let's just go. Let's start
Right.
there.
Let's admit self issues,
Yeah,
right?
you know, as another human being, when another human being fails, I think it's easy. The tendency could really be to be like, you stupid idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just almost point fingers at that person, like they've done something that is so irreversible, it's so wrong, and that I am way above that. Like, how dare you fail? You know what I mean? And make that person feel guilty and shameful,
right,
and downtrodden and whatever. It's really, I mean, dude, take a look at news and then the reaction towards news, and you can see that being played out. You know, when a politician fails, or when someone who's been regarded as someone to look up to in society fails, it's like, you are not allowed to fail. That's the tendency.
Yeah.
But yet we all do.
Right.
We all drop the ball. You know, so how do we not do that? But go in a sense of start with, we all drop the ball. And so as a dad, like, actually, let me, I would say as a dad, let me bring my wife in this as well. We as parents, we are trying to start with the sense of, we all drop the ball when our kids fail. And to go into it with the sense that, like, I dropped the ball. Matter of fact, probably with the issue that you're dropping the ball with, I probably have a story about that myself.
Yeah.
So now we're on common ground. Now it's the idea of like, okay, we both have dropped the ball. We both are probably going to drop the ball again because we're not perfect beings. You know what I'm saying? And with that commonality, let's figure out how to do what Yoda says. Like, let's figure out how to learn from this and how to press in this, but also to live with whatever the consequence is. Like, what, you know what I mean? Because look, man, it's not a magic eraser that just erases everything.
No, consequences can be real.
Consequences are real, whether they're minuscule or they're just like, you know what? This is something that's going to be on your resume for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it starts with this idea of like, dude, no, you failed, you dropped the ball, but guess what? That's normal. It's normal to drop the ball. What needs to happen from there is like, dude, how do you like learn from this and like learn not to fall into this trap, or learn how not to like do this again? You know what I mean? How what are you gonna do? And this is where parents, I think, need to be. We need to step in, and this requires that relationship that we keep talking about, that engagement. It's like, you can't call someone to the carpet with that if you don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you come off the street and you try to tell me all the wrong things that I'm doing in life, and I'm looking at you like, who are you?
Right. Who are you?
Who are you? And you know what? We may live under the same roof, but like, if we don't know each other, like, how am I gonna go tell my son how to live or my daughter how to live when I have no like sense of like, I actually want to be a part of your life?
Yeah.
Not just feed you, not just clothe you, not just put a roof over your head, not just pay for your schooling, but like, I mean, engage in a mother-kid relationship. How am I gonna have the right? Why? My old youth pastor said, like, relationship is like a bank. If you're not depositing into it, like, you have no right to withdraw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No right whatsoever. And so, like, you know, we as parents, this is where it's so important. That relationship is so important, because we can go like, yeah, man, dude, everyone drops the ball. But the idea is like, let me come alongside you and let me help you paint the picture of what it meant for you to do this failure, what it means, but also like, what are some lessons you can learn from it? Let's talk about it, and let me help you. Let me be an let me be accountability in your life to help you not fall into this again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, that's the road. And then we walk. Like, you know, I'm a knucklehead. I know it. When I was younger, I was a knucklehead. Dude, you could have done that 50 million times. And I would have, each 50 million time, would have walked away going, okay, not again. You know what I mean? And then drop the ball again. But we need to continue, because after a while, you learn. You know what I'm saying? You learn. And there's things that I've done that I learned from, but for some reason I kept on aiming in the same direction. And guess what? I have to live with that limp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's part of being human, man. Like, you're going to have to learn to live with your limps, right? But there's stuff in life that I've learned, don't take out a credit card and buy a whole bunch of things with no money coming in.
Yeah.
Learn that lesson really quick.
Yeah.
I learned a lesson from my dad. I remember my brakes were squealing in high school, and my dad was like, you need to check those brakes. And I was like, yeah, okay. You know, a week later, the squeal got louder, and my dad's like, dude, you should really get these brakes checked and fixed. And I'm like, whatever, man. Yeah, totally. I'll do it. Yeah. He's like, you know, Alon, after this point, it gets really dangerous. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. You know, whatever. You know, not learning at all. Even though he was telling me, he was holding me accountable. Like, hey, man, I hope you make an appointment. He was walking beside me as a father. And I just wasn't listening. You know what happened? Took a trip up with some friends. I was in Boston, actually Cape Cod, picked up a friend in Boston, some people in Boston, drove all the way to New Hampshire, for a friend to look at a car, and on the way back, this person asked me to drive the car that they were picking up, and they were going to drive my car. Dude, insane. We pull off the highway. My car doesn't have any brakes anymore. Matter of fact, before the trip, the squealing went away. And it wasn't that the problem went away, it's my brakes were completely away. You know what I mean?
There was nothing left to squeal.
This car is barreling down the street, going towards the intersection, down a hill. Dude, we had to take the car off the street. We drove it off, landed in a fire hydrant, spun around, hit the side of a building.
Wow.
Dude, I have to live with the rest of my life that I almost killed some people because I wouldn't listen. That's something that I have to live with. And it hurts. It does. But there's worse things and there's easier things, but still, that's my limp. And you know what? I've learned after that time. You know what I mean? I learned, I check my brakes all the time now, right?
Never again.
But take brakes out and put any other thing in there. You know what I mean? What my dad did not do is he didn't come at me like, dude, you stupid idiot. Or I told you so.
Right.
It's so easy to do that. Instead, he was like, well, you learn, man. I better check them brakes. All right, so let's get you scheduled in and let's go down to the automotive place. Let's get it fit. You know what I mean? That kind of sense is way better parenting, I think, than the sense of either I'm just going to let you fail and not even approach it because I don't want to deal with failure, or you know what, I'm gonna approach it with the finger pointed in your nose and not give you space to drop the ball and learn. Yeah.
That's a great story. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know this was gonna bring that story out of you. But the thing that I hear from my perspective, right? And you and I, that's why I think this works, because you and I see things from such a different angle from our life experience.
Sure.
What I see, this was Ray, right?
Yeah.
What I see is Ray didn't do it for you. So how did he get to the point where he's like, I know this could go really sideways, but Alon's got to learn this himself? He's got to take care of the car himself. I'm not going to do it for him. Yeah. Like that's where I see, at least in my own life, the tension of stepping in and taking ownership of something like that in the lives of my children, so it doesn't become this potential disaster. Like I want to rescue them and save them from the disaster. And yet Yoda's sitting on my shoulder saying, the best teacher failure is. Like that is it's a tension point for me. I got to be honest.
Yeah, no, and it is with me too. It is me too. I say that story. It's like, oh, well, Alon, you got it all together. Oh no. Like I'll be the first person to reach out and be like, get back in this corner.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you are not heading out. And I guess we have to pick our battles, right? Pick the war that we're going to fight. And stuff, but for me, like my compass is Jesus, man, and so I'm trying to hear His voice in my life, not just for me, but for my kids, for everything that I'm connected with, and I find when I'm listening intently, and I don't shun away from it. He speaks to me when the time is that I need to go hands off. You gotta let this happen. And when it does happen, if it does happen, you can't come in like a bear.
Well, this episode of failure and dealing with the consequences and how we sort that out as parents and with our kids went well past our targeted 20 to 25 minute range. So we left the microphones recording and decided to break this conversation up into two. So we'll conclude this episode here, and we'll continue the conversation with the next episode. Hey listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.